Hey everyone, if you've ever gone camping when it was really cold or in the winter, you know that it can be really miserable if you can't stay warm. So in this video, I'm going to be going over some different gear, clothing, and practices that can help you stay warm and have fun on your next winter camping trip. So when you're camping in the winter, you want to have the ability to wear different layers and have different amounts of warmth depending on if you're really cold or if you're starting to hike and warming up and sweating, you want to be able to put on and take off layers as needed. So one thing that's good to have is a puffer. They pack down really easily. They can squish down to barely take up any space, but they provide a good amount of warmth due to the loft in the stuffing. So I also have this really large winter coat. It's a snow jacket. I've used it for snowboarding and skiing before. And I took it on my last one. It kept me really warm, but the frustrating thing was that oftentimes I would get too hot wearing it when I was hiking, so I'd take it off a lot. But for really cold weather, that's something you could bring. Another thing is a hat. You can wear a beanie, or I like this trapper hat because it has these big flaps that keep my ears warm, and so that's something I would wear when I would sleep, or if I was just kind of hanging around camp. I wouldn't wear it when I was hiking because it would get a little too warm. And then having a good pair of gloves. These are just leather gloves, but I also have waterproof gloves, which are good for snow and rain and keeping your hands dry. I would say one of the most important things when you're camping during the winter is to have at least one pair of dry clothes that you can sleep in. So I have these camping base layers. They're very soft, they're long sleeve, it's a shirt and pants. And these were something that I kept in a dry sack in my bag, and I only wore when I slept. And so I kept them dry the whole time, and it kept me really warm and comfortable whenever I would go to sleep. Obviously, having a warm sleeping bag is really important. If you're going winter camping, you at a minimum need to have one rated to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. However, it's probably better to have a sleeping bag that's rated down to 0 degrees Fahrenheit or lower. Something you can do that isn't as expensive as a brand new sleeping bag for winter camping is to add a sleeping bag liner to your bag. And you can do this even if your bag you think is warm enough. This is something that you can bring with you just in case. So it's basically like a really thin sleeping bag. It doesn't have any zippers, and you climb into it and climb into your sleeping bag, and it adds like 10 degrees of warmth. I really like this because I have done some camping in Florida, and sometimes it's too hot for my normal sleeping bag, so I'll just use this instead. And it's really comfortable, keeps you cooler. But then adding this plus your regular sleeping bag will keep you really warm during the winter months. Another important factor is what you're sleeping on. So I have an inflatable camping mattress. It's very comfy. However, it isn't insulated. They do sell insulated ones, but they still might not be enough insulation on their own. So what I do is I sleep on this insulated foam pad, and so it folds out, and it also has the mylar coating to reflect your body heat back to you. And I sleep so comfortable during the winter with the combination of my inflatable mattress plus the sleeping pad underneath me. You lose a lot of body heat to the ground if you don't have insulation, so it makes a huge difference. Now, there are also much bigger investments you can make if you do a lot of winter camping, such as an insulated tent. However, in my experience, I've done okay with just a good sleeping bag, good clothes, a good sleeping pad, and just insulation. However, if you are going to really cold weather and you want to up your gear game, I would recommend getting an insulated tent. Other things to consider are winter boots, and I've actually have a pair of snowshoes now. Micro spikes are good for when you have to go in an area where there's going to be icy terrain and you need to be able to maintain grip. Especially in areas where the ground is still frozen. Micro spikes are very important. I have a set of those that are really good. I've had to use them in the North Cascades. Now, snowshoes isn't something I think most people will ever need. I have a pair, but I haven't used them. But if you're going in snow that's more than maybe 6-8 inches deep, you're gonna want snowshoes for sure. Another thing that's really nice that I like to have are the Hot Hands hand warmers. I always take a couple packs with me if I'm going winter camping, and especially when you're trying to sleep or you're waking up in the morning, your hands are cold. It is so nice. They stay warm for about 24 hours. So I do typically open one right before I go to bed, and I hold it in my hands inside my sleeping bag. And then you can stick it in your pockets or whatever when you start your hike in the morning. Finally, one more item to add to the list is something safety related, and it's an ice axe. Now, I wouldn't say you would need this on the Appalachian Trail, at least not till you get north of, at least Virginia or Pennsylvania. But in Washington State, in Alaska, things like that, when you have to deal with ice, an ice axe is a good thing to have, especially if you're going anywhere near a glacier. This is something that's very important. You'll need 2 if you're ice climbing, but for most hikers, 1 is just fine. Again, it's just a really good tool to have in a case of emergencies. Alright, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any ideas or suggestions for future videos, please leave it in the comments below.